The leader of the Navasihala Urumaya Sarath Manamendra, who was injured in an assault, is continuing to receive treatment at the accident ward of the National Hospital in Colombo. Manamendra refuted the claim made by his landlord that the conflict arose over the payment of rent.
Sarath Manamendra, the leader of the Navasihala Urumaya, was admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo yesterday for treatment of injuries sustained in an assault. Manamendra alleges that he was assaulted by the landlord of the house he is currently residing in.
නමුත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තනිකරම කුලී ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. මගේ වාහනය දාලා තිබ්බ ගරාජ් එකට මේ
This problem was not only a matter of rent. This man has allowed someone else to park their vehicle for 2,000 rupees a month in the garage in which I parked my vehicle. This was the primary cause. He will not let me park in the garden either. I lodged a complaint with the Valikada police on 2 occasions and the complaints were taken up, but it was unsuccessful. The Valikada police, myself and the landlord were called on and the matter was resolved, and they were told that as per the agreement I had a right to live here and therefore they should allow me to park my vehicle as is my right. We agreed and left. Last morning I went to the market with my wife, and when we returned home he did not open the gate. He came running from somewhere, got into an argument with me and did not let me park my vehicle.
මම ගියා ගේට්ටුව ඇරියේ නැහැ. මෙයා කොහෙදෝ ඉඳන් දුවගෙන ඇවිල්ලා මගෙත් එක්ක ආරවුලක් ඇති කරලා වාහනේ දාන්න දෙන්න බෑ කිව්වා.
When news first made inquiries, the police media spokesperson's office said that they had received complaints to the effect that the argument had arisen for a number of reasons, including the refusal to allow a vehicle to be parked at the rented residence. The landlord said the clash arose due to a problem surrounding a rented house.
Well, no information has come to light as yet suggesting that Sri Lankan nationals were among those who were on board an asylum seeker boat that sunk off the coast of Christmas Island on Thursday. Admiral Thisara Samarasinha, Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to Australia, said that if it is revealed that there were Sri Lankans aboard this vessel, then steps will be taken to inform authorities in Sri Lanka.
Australian media reports say that Australian customs officials have decided that they will not retrieve the bodies of at least 55 asylum seekers who are presumed to have drowned off Christmas Island. Reports add that women and children were among those on board the vessel. Last night, the Australian Maritime and Safety Authority, or AMSA, abandoned the search for survivors. Australian media reported that a total of 13 bodies have been spotted in the water near where the boat went down, but Australian customs say the recovery of the dead is not their priority. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to Australia, Admiral Thisara Samarasinha, says that there were no Sri Lankans among the bodies that had been recovered. Australia's Home Affairs Minister Jason Clare said the nationalities of those on board the ill-fated vessel have not been determined as yet, but it is believed that the vessel had embarked on its journey from Indonesia.
Farmers around the country have had to face various hardships in the recent past. While a majority of the challenges posed were from natural disasters, several man-made disasters too have affected the paddy farmers of the country. However, tonight we highlight the plight of a group of farmers who have not been affected by natural disasters but have been at the receiving end of the inefficiencies of officials.
This is the Daha Amuna paddy field in the Kotawa area in Ranna, Hambantota. The paddy fields that were to be harvested have been destroyed due to the lack of a proper waterway. Constructed to ease the flow of water from the farmlands, this waterway was 8 feet wide. However, farmers point out that the former irrigation engineer of Virakatia had reduced the width of the waterway to just 4 feet. They charge that this decision has led to their farmlands being submerged on numerous occasions. We cannot harvest the paddy. This has never happened before. Our farmlands were submerged due to the construction of an embankment. They reduced the width of the waterway from 8 feet to 4 feet despite our protests. Now the water does not drain. The farmers protested both verbally and in writing, however they did not listen. The farmlands were submerged many times during cultivation. The farmers call on the authorities to construct the waterway in a proper manner in order to prevent another disaster from taking place. The farmers cannot reap a harvest and they cannot carry out their activities during the next season. They cannot survive because they are burdened with debt. Provide a speedy solution to this so that we can cultivate during the next season.
Sri Lankan-born Professor Siri Kannangara has been conferred with the Order of Australia accolade. Now, the Order of Australia is awarded by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II to Australian citizens.
Professor Kannangara was conferred the Order of Australia, member in the General Division, title in recognition of his service to the field of sports medicine and rheumatology. Professor Siri Kannangara is a reputed doctor born in Sri Lanka and currently residing in Australia. Born in Horena, Professor Siri Kannangara was a product of Royal College, Colombo. Professor Kannangara was awarded a scholarship at the London University and specialised in sports medicine. In 1991, Professor Kannangara became the first Australian doctor to represent FIFA, football's world governing body. During the 2000 Sydney Olympics, Professor Siri Kannangara was not only a torch-bearer of the event, but also served on the medical team for the Sydney Olympics. His mother was the late Vivian Kannangara, a reputed principal from Horena.
And I always wanted to do sports medicine, because of which I decided to go to New Zealand first. From New Zealand, I was sent on a scholarship to London, to Guy's Hospital. From London, I was returning to Christchurch, New Zealand via Sydney, but in 1977 I landed in Sydney. In Sydney, I was the first doctor to the World Series cricket, where they took me on board as the first doctor, and then I served Australian football or soccer for 26 years as their team doctor. I helped Sri Lankans a lot of cricketers were helped. Then I was inducted to the Australian Hall of Fame in sports, and because of all this work I have done on an honorary capacity, not a paid job, I was awarded this as a member of the General Division of Order of Australia, which only one other Sri Lankan has had 5 or 6 years ago.
Eminent international cricket umpire Katie Francis has passed away. Francis officiated in the first test match between Sri Lanka and England in 1982.
Katie Francis was born in the year 1939 in Kegol, made his way to the cricketing field through the Railway Department Sports Club. Francis officiated in a test match for the first time in 1999 when England took on Sri Lanka at the Sarunamuthu Stadium, and stood in his last test match when Sri Lanka played against Australia in 1999. Katie Francis officiated in 25 test matches and 56 one-day internationals during his international umpiring career of 17 years. Sri Lanka Cricket announced that the final rites of Katie Francis, who was 73 years of age at the time of his demise, will be held at the Boralla Cemetery on Thursday.
The ICC Champions Trophy Group B encounter between South Africa and Pakistan is currently underway at the Edgbaston in Birmingham. Now, batting first, the South Africans posted 234 runs, losing 9 wickets in the process. Colin Ingram and Hashim Amla opened the batting for South Africa. Winning the toss and electing to bat first, South Africa went on to post 234 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. Hashim Amla and Ingram were able to put on a partnership of 53 runs for the first wicket. Ingram was the first to fall for 20 runs, while opener Hashim Amla posted his 20th ODI half-century today, putting on 80 runs before being undone. Faf du Plessis scored 28 runs. The South African innings was marred by poor running, with 4 batsmen being run out. Mohammad Irfan, Junaid Khan, Mohammad Hafiz, Robert Riaz and Saeed Ajmal, as well as Shoaib Malik, picked up a wicket apiece for Pakistan. ODI debutant Chris Morris was brought in to replace injured South African paceman Dale Steyn. Well, a special concert was staged in Colombo yesterday in support of a girls' school in Jaffna. The concert, held at the Ladies' College Auditorium, was presented by the Symphony Orchestra. Funds collected from the concert will be donated to the Chundikulam Girls' School in Jaffna, which has a proud history of over 100 years. The funds will be used to develop the school, which was affected by the 3-decade-long war. And with that, we wrap up this edition of News First Primetime News. For the News First team, I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Good night.